for joining us here on Arc Rochester. I'm Abby Friedman.
And I'm Dan Schrack. A packed 2 hours to go right here on Arc Rochester. So let's give you a rundown of what we have brewing this Wednesday morning.
Yeah, all morning here on Arc Rochester. We are going to be taking you behind the story, bringing you the latest on some of the top local, national, and international headlines.
We certainly are. Stephanie Joseph is live in the newsroom this morning with those stories that she is following. Steph, what do you have?
Yeah, guys, President Trump continuing to sign executive orders this week covering a range of areas, including the federal workforce and tariffs. Now, you'll hear from Elon Musk, the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, for the first time as Trump directs agencies to work with DOGE. Meantime, efforts to slash the government are causing confusion over a federal worker buyout plan now paused by the courts. Plus, some more tariffs, the reaction from world leaders who are working closely with the U.S. And also, an American teacher has now been freed from a Russian prison. Mark Fogel was serving a 14-year sentence on drug charges. See the moment he met with President Trump in the White House. And then in local news, an update on the calls from local legislatures about oversight on the project.
All right, Steph, we look forward to those reports. We're going to check in with you coming up in just a little bit.
We certainly will. And later, we've got the funk. Huh, don't give me that
What?
look.
It was,
I know you hate that so much.
I do.
We've got Spatchcock Funk this morning. We're taking a look at a recipe that includes pork and some fresh farm cheese.
Yeah, Dan's favorite.
Yes.
And then we're going to be taking a look at Valentine's Day by the numbers. We're going to be breaking down just how much love is expected to spread this year.
Okay, so let's chat about this a little bit if we can. I feel like every year Valentine's Day gets a bit more expensive. I get it, there's inflation, so we will see prices rise. But I think the expectation in just American culture rises a bit each year, that it's got to be bigger and better than last year. It can't just be we're never satisfied with the same.
Really?
No?
No, I've not noticed that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I don't know. Maybe
okay, but like
maybe it's because I'm single, and every year when I go out on a date by myself, the price of my meal goes up because I'm drinking away my feelings.
Hey, you're more than welcome to join for dinner on Valentine's Day.
Am I?
You are.
Oh my
Of
goodness.
course. You always have an invitation.
The three of us.
The three of us. Why not? Okay, so I have not noticed that, but I want to know why you are thinking that. Is it like you're seeing more in what evidence do you have to back this up?
I suppose it would be social media.
Okay.
I think the expectation is always heightened. We're always more.
I see what you mean.
As a society.
Okay. Sure.
Last year's was great. So what are we getting this year?
Okay,
You know?
I can see that. It reminds me, at least if I'm putting two and two together, do you remember in the fall they had boo baskets? You get the basket for the person that you care about, and it's got all the fall things in it. And you went on a huge rant about how much you hated it.
Yup.
I feel like this kind of goes hand in hand.
Yes.
Am I on the right track?
100%.
All right.
100%.
There we go.
Absolutely. I think just a little over the top. How do you outdo yourself every year?
I don't know.
You know? We'll break it down. We'll figure it out. And maybe we'll change some minds, and you could maybe save a little bit of money this Valentine's Day.
Maybe.
Go the cheap way.
Yeah. We got to move on. We are also coming up in the 8 o'clock hour looking ahead to the return of the Hoochenanny Whiskey and Music Festival. This year, they're bringing even more music, even more drinks, and, of course, that amazing high energy. We're going to be joined by some of the event coordinators to talk more about it.
And maybe some of the event whiskey to talk more about it.
It is really early for whiskey.
Yes, listen, I think that might be in like the 9 o'clock hour, though. So by then, we might be. You'll do great reading the news after that.
Excellent. Okay.
Then we're looking ahead to our. Oh, so that is in the 8 o'clock hour.
End of the 8, I think.
Yeah, maybe we should just have them fill our cups, and after the show we'll have them.
Yeah. Okay.
Looking ahead to the 9 o'clock hour, we're continuing our conversation on the rising price of eggs. This morning we're going to be chatting with the director from CountryMax to see what they're seeing on the impact of chick sales. Yeah. chick sales, because people are out there buying their own chickens, hoping to produce their own eggs so they don't have to pay those astronomical prices that we were detailing for you yesterday.
Yeah, we actually were talking about an increase in prices. We had a graphic that showed just the how significant that difference was. I'm sure we'll pull that up again.
Nothing under $5 anymore.
Yeah.
For a dozen eggs. Crazy.
All right, so we'll look forward to that with CountryMax. And, there are rules. Not everybody can just go and get some chickens for their house. So,
So look into it before you line up at the store.
Make a friend that has chickens.
Yes, there you go. There you go. And then we're going to be taking a closer look at the Finger Lakes On-Ramp Center that's being led by MCC in partnership with Rochester Works. We're going to learn more about that program and the range of opportunities that are available.
And then at the end of the 9 o'clock hour, we will be taking a closer look at some of the international news that we're following. We're going to talk more about the future of Gaza with political science professor Tim Kneeland.
And later on, we are taking a look at what's trending now. This morning, we're going to be introducing you to the Lucky Canine crowned top dog.
I'm bitter.
I know you are.
I'm happy.
Who were you hoping was going to win?
The Whippet.
Oh, that's right.
My little Jaybird.
Yes. Listen,
there she is.
All of these dogs
So
are winners,
cute.
though.
Are you kidding me? They're all great. Yeah,
if you make it to this level, you've already won.
Sure.
I get it. You want the ribbon. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you made it on national television for having a great dog.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah.
I still, the Whippets, they aren't talked about enough. They're an amazing breed. They get like 5 minutes of energy and then they sleep all day.
I feel like we should have, every time we talk about Jaybird, we should have Whip It Real Good.
Yes.
That song playing.
We need a picture, I'm sure.
Ashley, can you dig that up? Okay, thank you. Get that on for us at some point before we end at 9. Before all of that, though, we do want to talk about the forecast this morning because we are seeing a wintry mix move in as we make our way through the day. Meteorologist Marty Snyder in the Weather Center for us right now. Marty, it's not over.
No, it's not over. This is halftime, pretty much, right, of winter. But, we're going to see at least some quiet conditions for the early part of the day. But changes play out. Here's a look at those changes. That snow is going to build in, especially mid to late afternoon time frame. And then as we go through the remainder of the day, what we're going to see is a change over to at least a little bit of mixed precipitation before it actually does change over to rain. But between now and when it changes over to that mix, could see a trace to 2 inches of snow. But then through the late evening, changes over to at least a little bit of sleet and freezing rain. Likely not too much of either one of those categories, but both are possibilities. So just want to throw that out there so you're aware that that possibility is there. And then it changes to just rain after midnight. So I think longer term, we come back above freezing. Everything calms down a little bit, but especially through the late afternoon as that snow accumulates a little bit. And then as we may add just a little bit of mixed precipitation on top of that, it could be a little challenge to travel by late afternoon, some of the evening hours. But then we start to improve a little bit overnight, which is something that doesn't often happen across the area during that time frame.
So improvement overnight, does that mean the likelihood of seeing slick spots and things of that nature on the roadways tomorrow morning for that commute should be minimal?
Likelihood is low, yeah. And, I say that realizing that some of the roads and some of the side streets and things like that still have some snow on them from previous events. But as far as what we're going to see out of this, yours. I had you in mind when I said that. But going forward, we just aren't going to see much new accumulation throughout the overnight. So through the overnight, it comes back above freezing. So if anything, will improve, but we may not clear out every sidewalk or driveway throughout that whole time frame for what we've seen over the past couple weeks from that glacier that's kind of set up, especially in my driveway.
Got it. Yeah. All right.
If that makes sense.
Listen, you got to get the kids out there to shovel for you, Marty.
I told you I put down 150 pounds of salt this past weekend. It did nothing. That was my entire salt supply, so now I'm out of salt for the season.
When did you tell us that? Did I miss that?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I told someone here in the office. Yeah.
150 pounds of salt?
It was some that I got. It was some from they had it on sale. This was like 10 years ago. It was all clumped together because this store left it out in the rain. And I'm like, I'll take it. So I broke it up, threw it out on the driveway. It did nothing. So I'm back where I started.
I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. But at least you had a supply.
That's it. It's gone now.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, during the month of February, 13 Wham is celebrating Black History Month by sharing each and every day the contributions and advancements made in our community.
We certainly are. Dr. Charles Lunsford was Rochester's first known licensed black doctor in 1921 and a graduate of Howard University. Lunsford treated both white and black patients. He was also a pioneer of the civil rights for African Americans. You can keep up with our Black History highlights on our website, posted every day, 13wham.com.
Much more to get to coming up on ARC Rochester. We're going behind the story coming up next.
And don't forget, if you're heading for the door, you can take us with you. We are streaming live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel. ARC Rochester returns right after this.
Welcome back. We're going behind the story, bringing you some of the latest topics and developing headlines that we're following this morning.
We certainly are. Over the coming days, we're going to be breaking down some of the executive orders recently signed by President Donald Trump and the potential impact they could have.
Stephanie Joseph joins us from the newsroom with more. Steph, let's get into it.
Yeah, guys, so the latest executive orders coming out, they target reduction to the federal workforce. Let's start there. The order directs the Office of Management and Budget to develop a plan that would limit hiring, allowing agencies to bring in just one new employee for every 4 workers let go. Now, the measure does not impact the current hiring freeze at the IRS. Last night, President Trump and Elon Musk, you see there, who has been tasked with overseeing government restructuring, spoke to reporters about that plan.
The public voted, we have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We've won the House, we won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for. But in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Now, the White House also says Musk will not need to file a public report on his financial interests with the government because he is an unpaid special employee. Musk says he will file a confidential one. Moving on now to tariffs. On Monday, President Trump announced a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports. It comes after he paused another 25% tax on Canada and Mexico last week. Now, the two countries and Brazil are considered major suppliers for steel. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau reacted reacting to the new tariffs, calling them, quote, unacceptable.
Tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum would be entirely unjustified. We are the U.S.'s closest ally. Our economies are integrated. Canadian steel and aluminum is used in a number of key American industries, whether it's defense, shipbuilding, manufacturing, energy, automotive. Together we make North America more competitive.
Turning now to the federal employee buyout plan, a hold will continue on the Trump administration's plan there. Now, under the deal, workers could resign and be paid through the end of September. A judge halted the program hours before the deadline for employees to accept last week and decided to extend that to consider the offer's legality. Now, Trump, though, he's standing by the buyout option despite those legal challenges.
Can you personally guarantee that the workers who opt in to resign now will be paid through September?
They'll get their money, but they're getting a good deal. They're getting a big buyout. And what we're trying to do is reduce government. We have too many people.
Now, we'll, of course, continue to follow these executive actions and others as they continue to develop right here on Arc Rochester.
All right, Stephanie Joseph in the newsroom. Thanks, Steph. Appreciate it.
Time right now, 8:17. When we come back, we are going to be taking a look at some overnight breaking news.
Arc Rochester is back on the other side of the break.
Welcome back. We're going to get now to that breaking overnight news. Mark Fogel, the American who had been detained in Russia since 2021, is back on U.S. soil this morning after his release was secured through a prisoner exchange with Russia.
Yeah, Stephanie Joseph joins us once again from the newsroom. She's been following this story for us today and joins us now with the latest. Steph?
Yeah, guys, so we know that Mark Fogel was designated as wrongfully detained and is now back on U.S. soil, as you said. They're even meeting with President Donald Trump last night. Back in 2021, if you might remember, he was arrested on drug charges in Russia for being accused of having 17 grams, around that much, of marijuana with him. And we know we've heard from his family and also attorneys who say that that is used for back pain.
Now, Steph, we know after this release, he was over there for something like 3 years. We know after this release last evening, President Trump said that there was going to be another person released today. However, we're not sure if it's someone being held in Russia. That's the speculation. Has there been any update on when that announcement could be made, when we find out who that person is, or when they could be back here on U.S. soil?
You know, when it comes to this exchange, President Trump has been very tight-lipped on the details, so there isn't much that we know so far. I believe that we do have sound from Trump last night when someone had asked him about the terms specifically, and he had said that they were very fair. Let's see if we can pull that up.
What were the terms of this deal, Mr. President?
Very fair, very fair, very reasonable, not like deals you've seen over the years. They were very fair. And I think that's going to lead, and somebody else is being released tomorrow that you will know of. But we wanted to get this done, very important. And Steve wanted to actually fly over and get Mark and get him home properly, because it could be a pretty tough trip.
So is this the beginning of a deal, sir? Is this the start of
I think there's goodwill in terms of the war. You know, 1.5 million soldiers, young people have been killed.
I've met many of them.
Yeah, and it's a terrible thing going on, so we want to get that done. I think this could be the very important element. You could be a big part of it, actually, because it could be a big, important part of getting the war over with Ukraine.
But I also want to talk about just the reaction from Mark being there. He had a lot to say in his short time back into the U.S., really thanking his family and even calling the people who made this exchange happen heroic. Let's see if we can listen to that.
I feel like the luckiest man on earth right now. And I want you to know that I am not a hero in this at all. And President Trump is a hero. These men that came from the diplomatic service are heroes. The senators and representatives that passed legislation in my honor to get me home are the heroes. I am in awe of what they all did. My family has been a force. I think my 95-year-old mother is probably the most dynamic 95-year-old on earth right now. And I am so indebted to so many people.
Obviously, Mark Fogel, but also his family. You heard him talk about his 95-year-old mother. This has been a long time coming for them, so something that they have been hoping and looking forward to, and he is back on U.S. soil.
All right, Steph, thanks for the report. We appreciate it. Time right now is 8:23. Much more to get to here on ARC Rochester.
We're back right after this.
Welcome back to Arc Rochester. I'm Abby Friedman.
And I'm Dan Schrack. We want to switch gears and take you into the kitchen this morning for this week's edition of Spatchcock Funk.
We know everybody's like, where's the recipe?
Yes.
What are we doing this morning?
Yeah.
We're taking a look now at a dish that includes pork and some farm fresh cheese. Take a look.
Spatchcock Funk, we are here to make today the farmer's daughter. Super fresh, super tasty, and it's coming from the Garden State, New Jersey. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And the key ingredient, though, actually is what we call pork roll, what other people call tailored ham. So it's that and farmer's cheese. So what we're going to do first, actually, while it's still in the wrapper, is just cut it in half and pop it out of this beautiful canvas shell it's got. Slice them into cubes, about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch cubes, and then you're just gonna fry that up in a pan. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stuff some Roma tomatoes, right? So what you wanna do is the bottom of them actually can sit up and stand up straight like that. So you wanna set it up so you see how it's gonna go, then at a good angle so it's gonna stay even. At the fattest part, cut the top off, and then cut a circle around the inside of the tomato, and then at an angle you can go through and pop out all the seeds and the thick part of the middle of the core. So we've got a tray that we've already put a bunch of tomatoes into, right, that we've sprayed with cooking spray. Now, let's get stuffing. The first thing we want to do is we're using farmer cheese, right? Now, farmer cheese is just cold pressed cottage cheese. And it cooks, its flavor is similar to like a ricotta. It's got a nice sweetness to it that adds some value to the saltiness of the meat, which also has a little sweetness to it too. Then we're gonna have 1 pound of roasted asparagus. So we also have 1/2 of a white onion and the green parts of a green onion in there. And then we're also gonna put in, some cornbread. Yeah, now we did a little bit of butter, got that beautiful, salty pork roll that we're gonna mix in there. Now, with the warm pork in there, you're gonna start stirring it and breaking up the parts of the cornbread, and the cheese will start evenly mixing itself the more you just keep turning it. So do that until you've got it good and evenly mixed. Now, we've got our cord tomatoes in a whole tray over here, so one at a time, you're gonna take a spoon, and you are just gonna use the back end of the spoon to get it in there nice and stuffed, right? We've got some shredded white cheddar, and we're just gonna drape it all over this, right? Press it down a little bit so it sticks into each one. The finishing touch is we are gonna take some dried parsley and sprinkle that over all of it, get some more of that color from the farm on here, right? Get some parsley on every little piece. And then we're also gonna hit it with a little bit of Italian seasoning. Again, a little bit more color, but add something nice to it. And then you're just gonna put it in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes or so until the cheese gets nice and golden. You know how we like it. Oh yeah. Now, we've got some perfect farmer's daughters right here. The cheese is melted perfect. It's got this golden brown crust to it that we just love. So you take out your stuffed Tommy right there. Grab a fork and a knife, take a slice, get the nice tomato flesh in there. And I've got the perfect bite from the perfect farm. To all the farmers' daughters out there, we love y'all madly. Spatchcock Funk.
Stick around. We've got a lot more to come here on Arc Rochester. It's going to get better, people. When we come back, we are taking a look at how loving Americans are spending their cash this year.
And don't forget, take us on the go wherever you are. Stream us live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel. Valentine's Day is just a couple days away, and lovers across the country have opened their hearts and their wallets to celebrate. I hate that word.
What? Lovers?
Yeah. Unless it's got
meat and pizza. Yes.
30 Rock.
Liz left numbers to see some of this year's stats.
Yeah.
Abigail.
All right. So let's see. What do we have here? Spending category. $27.5 billion projected, I should say, will be spent this year for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, the average person will spend $188.81.
I get it.
It's a lot of money.
How much is it to go out to dinner with two people? Two people, you go out to dinner, including drinks, right? 2 rounds of drinks, let's say, right? Well, you go to the bar, you have a drink, and then you have one with dinner.
Okay.
Or let's say you get a bottle of wine.
Okay,
right?
you're looking at easily $120.
Okay, right.
And that's dinner.
That's
just
it.
Dinner.
That's just dinner.
That's just dinner.
Yeah.
That's not chocolates. That's not a card. That's not one of those life-size teddy bears.
Yeah. Relax. It's all right. I can feel your blood pressure.
It's a lot of
rising
money.
from here. It is a lot.
It's a lot of money.
So 38% of people shop online. 34% of people will shop in a department store. 29% in a discount store. Discount, like a Home Goods? A TJ Maxx?
It's got to be.
Yeah. That's my assumption. Okay.
Or, hey, Dollar Tree.
Whatever.
Who knows?
18% at florists, 18% specialty stores, and 17% small businesses. We gotta get that small business number up there. What are you laughing at?
I'm wondering what kind of specialty store people are shopping at, Abigail. Hey, yeah. All right, we'll move on. 35% of Americans are expected to enjoy their Valentine's Day out and about this year. So again, you go out, though, you're bound to spend even more money than going to the grocery store, doing something nice at home.
Yeah.
You know?
This is true.
You're gonna spend more, and then you got a tip on top of it.
Yeah. Men will spend almost 2 times as much as women.
Because we care.
Because you care.
No, listen, I think men are trying to make up for missing the birthday, missing the mark with the Christmas gift, because you don't do hand towels. That's not appropriate. I think they're trying to make up for misgivings in previous holidays.
I hear it. Yeah.
You know?
I feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I remembered this one because you can't forget it because it's everywhere in the store.
Yeah.
This and Christmas.
And Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
33% of Americans anticipate having credit card debt due to Valentine's Day. No. No. Do your loved one a favor and don't buy the gift if it's going to mean debt.
Yeah. Your loved one will understand.
Yes.
I'm thinking. Yeah.
And if they don't, get a divorce.
Oh my, Dan. Okay.
Listen, we can say that.
No. 47 million Americans will get an unwanted gift equaling an estimated $8.9 billion.
See, this is why you stop spending, people. Top gifts. Okay, so 56 of celebrators. This one's a given.
Yeah.
They're going to buy candy.
Sure.
And
That's great.
I'm okay with that.
You can buy us candy. 4225 West Henrietta Road.
Yep.
We'll take
Arc
it.
Rochester.
Yeah.
That's where you want to send it. $6.5 billion will be spent by 22% of people, and they're going to be spending $6.5 billion on jewelry. We're talking diamonds, Abigail.
Yeah, diamonds, rings,
Gold.
necklaces, gold, watches.
Chandeliers.
It's not jewelry. I know. 40% of people plan on buying flowers for their loved one or their Valentine this year. The least...
Yep, I want me to take it?
Yep, I do.
The least desired gift of the year, furry handcuffs. Come on.
34%?
Yeah. Okay. Furry handcuffs.
That's what they're getting at the specialty store.
That's what they're getting at the specialty store. And anyone who's anyone knows you don't want the furry handcuffs. They don't hold up well. You want actual metal ones.
We need to continue.
You put it in the teleprompter.
I split the stats. This is facts.
I am talking facts. Don't get the furry ones. Don't skimp out. Flowers at 28%. Heart-shaped boxes of chocolate, 22%. A love coupon book at 18%. Listen, that's not a bad idea, though. Chores around the house. Honey, I promise I'll unload the dishwasher for the next month, kind of thing.
Okay.
If it's something that you fight over.
Okay.
No? Bad gift? Don't do it?
No, don't do it.
Don't do
the coupon book.
Don't do the coupon book.
Just trust me on this. Don't do
Being
the coupon
serenaded.
Unless you're a little kid. Kid.
Yes,
Coupon book.
that's cute.
For
That's cute.
2 free hugs to mom.
Yes.
Adorable.
Yes, that's
Your significant
nice.
other, thumbs down.
Thumbs down, divorced. Serenaded, 14%. People don't like being serenaded?
I was serenaded once.
Were you?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
It was the worst thing I've ever experienced.
Well, listen.
It was awful.
I think
No
you-
disrespect.
You
It was
gotta hire.
awful.
You gotta hire professionals.
Yeah.
Okay, so other stats. 44% of adults say they're not celebrating Valentine's Day this year.
Okay.
They just say, I've had enough.
Yeah. 66% say they expect to receive a gift. I'm imagining some are going to be very disappointed.
39% of people plan on buying themselves a gift. This, I think, is a good idea.
Yeah, you know, I am big on the treating yourself for your birthday. That is, I'm going to get a birthday gift for myself.
Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Do it.
You work hard, you deserve it.
Yeah. $1.7 billion will be spent on gifts for pets.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I think it's okay to be spending $1.7 billion on gifts for pets. Do they need to be Valentine's gifts? No. I say buy your, every time you go to the store and you see something that Fluffy would like and you've got the money to buy it for Fluffy then.
But, it could
They
be
don't
like,
know it's Valentine's Day.
a heart-shaped kitty toy.
Okay, that's fair.
Heart-shaped dog treat. Does that qualify as a Valentine's Day gift if it's in the shape of a heart or?
I think if it's purchased around this time of year, I think it does.
Okay.
I do. Love your pets year-round, people, not just on Valentine's Day. 6 million marriage proposals are made on Valentine's Day each year. That's interesting.
Yeah.
6 million people. How many of them do you think actually get married? How many of them do you think result in a yes?
I don't know.
That's the real stat we need, Ashley. Yeah. How many of them happen in Vegas? How many of them elope rather than doing the full-scale wedding, or we do justice of the peace?
Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting. 40% of people will buy a Valentine's Day card.
Okay.
How do you feel about Valentine's Day cards?
Sure. Why not?
You're on board?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Are you not?
I think the ones with the pre-written messages, listen, I want your words.
Yeah.
I want to know how you feel about me.
I've never just signed a card with my name.
Okay. All right.
think
Just
if it's
needed
funny-
the clarifying factor.
I like a good funny Valentine.
Who doesn't like a good funny card
Yeah.
year round? What I like to do is when I don't often give cards to people, but anytime I actually do, I make sure it's a card that's opposite of what they're expecting. So if you were going for Valentine's Day, you give a birthday card or a retirement card. If you're going for the birthday, you make sure to get the age wrong horribly. Like you need to be decades off to make it funny. It's humorous.
Where did you come up with that idea?
I don't know.
Okay.
I saw a funny card in the store once, and it wasn't appropriate for the venue, but I did it anyhow. Move on.
Where's what we're being told? Top cities for Valentine's Day celebrations. Number 5 is Denver. 4 is Vegas. 3 is San Diego. Number 2 is Seattle. And number 1, San Francisco.
Where's Rochester on that list? Don't laugh over there, Chris.
Back from the Bahamas.
Yeah, back
Got
from
an
the
attitude.
Bahamas. It was a birthday trip.
He was on the cruise.
Which one?
The cruise. You know the one.
Yeah, you know the one we talked about earlier this week. where people struggle keeping their clothes on. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we are looking ahead to festival season.
We're back after this.
.46, thanks for sticking around this Wednesday. Get ready for whiskey, music, and a whole lot of fun, because the Hoochenanny Festival is returning once again this summer.
Yeah, this morning we're looking ahead and learning more about the newly expanded Whiskey and Music Festival. We're joined now by event producer Sean McCarthy and festival founder Tommy Brunett. Good morning to you both. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Good to see you both. And
Good to see you.
I mean, the return of the festival. You guys have to be excited, right?
Super excited.
For those who don't know, give us a little overview. We know whiskey, we know music, but
it's just something we came up with the grant we got from Iron Smoke, and we put together a celebration of all the great things up in upstate New York: craft spirits, music, culture, culinary, and put it in a big ball. And Hoochenanny is just a name I made up a long time ago. It's not to be confused with humdinger. Same thing though. It's like Hoochenanny. And then we did that. It was a pretty good success in Geneseo, and we put together a whiskey experience. It was really embraced by everybody, and so we continued. And it kind of, the next level of where we went was two guys in a bar having a bourbon and talking to Sean about all he's created and his visionary with all the the Northeast festivals, tents, and everything else, and a love for music. So that's where it kind of splits off into like Sean's world with the experience. It's all about the concert goers experience, the hospitality end of it, and creating something that we get off on, bringing things into the world that didn't exist before. And that's what it's all about, and all the good things that are in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like furry handcuffs, but for your ears, for your eardrums. I don't know.
We appreciate the viewership,
Yeah,
Tommy. We do.
thanks.
Sean, talk to us. What is it like producing an event like this?
It's stressful, and you wonder why you take on things sometimes. No, but so I've had a lot of success. Obviously, my main company is a tent and event rental company, right? So that's made starting other events like Rock Holiday Village very easy because I already have this infrastructure. So that's when Tommy approached me last year and said, let's do this. I said, well, let's do it, but let's do it in the summer. Let's find a hole in the festival season, which we found August 8, 9, 10 to be a good hole to fill. And it was basically, it was a good partnership because Tommy knows the music. We both know the music. He knows the whiskey. I have the infrastructure to make a PGA hospitality at a rock and roll show.
Wow, that is a good way of putting
That's
it.
the goal.
I love the pictures. You can just tell how much fun people are having. Describe the energy from previous years.
Well, the energy was based around the experience again, and celebrating culture and craftsmanship, like getting your hands dirty. And if you're making a guitar or you're making a piece of jewelry or making bourbon, and the whiskey experience is really just a special thing. We got a partnership with someone from Kentucky that is in the Wall Street Journal for his whiskey experiences. So we're not only celebrating like New York now, we're going across the country and seeking out the best experiences for people and bring them to right here. Go ahead.
It's got to be enjoyable for you specifically to keep doing it, in order to keep doing this, to keep putting your heart into it. What is it about the festival that makes it so magical for you?
I'll just say, like I said, bringing stuff into existence that didn't exist before, even with Iron Smoke, and creating something that's unusual, especially for the Northeast. Like we were talking about, maybe putting Bonnaroo and Warped Tour together, kind of when we're talking, or like how can we create that experience and make sure that we're celebrating craftsmanship at its finest, like across the globe at some point. But right now,
we're also we're creating a festival that, you know, obviously Jazz Festival's done an amazing job in June in that genre, but we're bringing a true rock fest, not just rock. We're talking jam band, rock, Americana, outlaw country. It's something that there's no large festival that does that, and we think that Rochester wants it and needs it.
Absolutely. For somebody sitting at home who's thinking, all right, I'm sold, I'm down, I'm interested, give us the rundown of everything they need to know.
So the event, August 8, 9, 10, it's at Camp Eastman, which is a cool spot. It's where Oktoberfest used to be in the town of Irondequoit. The town of Irondequoit is our title sponsor. They've been very helpful. They're very excited about it. And I think that a lot of people don't know what Camp Eastman is, but when you go there, it's this little kind of nook oasis surrounded by trees where when you get there, it's like, how did I not know about this little cool nook back here? There's also, the best part is there's amazing parking there, which when people go to events, they want creature comforts and simple things like being able to park easily and walk in and have a chair to sit in. Those are the things that we're offering.
If someone is watching this and they might be a small business owner or something along those lines, and they say, listen, this would be fun to attend, but I'd much rather have a hand in it. Are there still vendor spaces available or anything like that?
Certainly, yeah. So our the actual artisan vendors and food vendors, we're gonna have an insane food experience, but we're actually announcing how to apply for that in March.
Oh, okay,
so that's
perfect.
Right. So right now the focus is, first of all, I want to say that the bands that we're booking, I think, will blow people's minds that this is happening and happening in Rochester. When we booked some of the headliners, which we can't say who they are yet, but they're really good, I almost cried. Because it's an amazing thing to be a music fan, but I've never been a concert promoter yet. To have that experience, to be like, I'm going to meet this like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame god in Rochester, like, and walk them to the stage. It's pretty exciting.
Well, can you come back here to make all those announcements? Can you guys do that?
We can do that.
Absolutely.
Because I know these people would like that.
You gotta wait.
That's
coming.
fine.
It's coming.
We'll be patient.
It's coming soon.
Just make sure you do it here.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
Thank you both so much.
We appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to those big announcements coming soon.
Thank you.
Time right now is 8:52. Don't go anywhere. We still have a lot to come here on Arc Rochester. We're getting ready to go into the 9 o'clock hour.
Stick around. We're back on the other side of the break.
Wednesday morning. I'm Stephanie Joseph. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's your ARC Rochester news break. The town of Greece facing a second lawsuit over allegations of illegal surveillance and intimidation tactics. The suit was filed by Tina Bachman Marini. Bachman says she and her family were subjected to relentless monitoring after a GPS was put on their car. This comes after she became a witness in an investigation into an alleged pay-to-play scheme. The filing also claims town officials hired private investigators to follow her family and had those who knew Bachman's family also interviewed. The lawsuit further alleges that town officials tried to intimidate her husband, a longtime Greece police officer, by launching internal affairs investigations.
Well, it comes to the point where Ms. Bachman is afraid for her life and for her children's life. It's very difficult to guess what their motives are. All we know is what they've done and the effect that it's had on her family and her kids, which has been a devastating effect.
The town of Greece says it has not been served with a complaint, but will review the lawsuit once that happens. This is the second legal case in Greece involving allegations of illegal tracking. Last year, the former deputy town supervisor was indicted for allegedly using a GPS tracker to unlawfully monitor a town resident. Marini has pled not guilty to the charges. That case is set to head to court next month. Monroe County's top prosecution. Now, this follows a referral from the town board and police department. Last month, a 34-page report outlined complaints from a former female staffer who alleges Evans made inappropriate sexual comments that made her uncomfortable. The investigation could result in Dorley calling for Evans' removal from office.
The opportunity, even way last year, when presented with these allegations, to do the right thing, and he's chosen not to, and it's just been us having to continually escalate this matter to the point where now the district attorney is involved.
Well, Evans has remained defiant, stating he intends to run for re-election. 13 Wham reached out to him for a comment, but he directed us to his attorney, who has not responded. The Rondequoit Town Board says it will also consider a resolution to censure Evans at a special meeting next week. Now, for all of these top stories and any updates, be sure to visit 13wham.com. Stick around. ARC Rochester is back right after this.
o'clock on this Wednesday morning, February 12th. Thanks for joining us here on ARC Rochester. I'm Abby Friedman.
And I'm Dan Schrack. We want to start this half hour, or this hour rather, off by talking about a consumer story that we have been watching pretty closely over the past several weeks.
Yeah, the highly contagious bird flu has impacted tens of millions of farmed chickens, sending egg prices up 65% in just the last year, and of course causing that shortage across the country.
Yeah, this morning we wanted to take a closer look at how the bird flu and rising prices are impacting our community directly. For more, we're joined now by the Director of Sales for CountryMax Stores. That's Brad Payne. Good morning, Brad. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to speak with us.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So let's dive right in. What are you seeing at CountryMax stores across the region?
Well, every year we have our spring chick days, and this year the spring is taken out of the chick days. It's more like midwinter chick days, because obviously as the egg prices rise, as you have talked about, people get more interested in what they can do to raise their own chickens and how they can, starts to occur to more people. And so we're just seeing more and more people come in and ask, when are we going to have chicks? When are we going to have, birds in the store available to purchase? And, people really looking to take things into their own hands, obviously, as egg prices rise, and a good level of interest as they come in.
And so when will those chicks be ready, and when can people expect that?
Yeah, so unfortunately, most chicks are actually mailed, so they're shipped through the post office. So it's super cold right now, as you can imagine, and so it's a tough trip for them. So we've unfortunately had to tell people, you got to wait till it warms up a little bit in the first part of March. So we always bring in hundreds and hundreds of chicks throughout all of our stores about mid-March. So we've got a mid-March. We'll probably try to bring in some sooner if weather allows. Obviously, right now, that's not the case, but unfortunately, it's part of the whole, raising chickens process that those chicks are sent from a hatchery. And so can't just snap our fingers and have them show up. But people are asking like crazy, and hopefully we can get them in here soon.
Now, obviously, there are rules and regulations, guidelines on who is allowed to have chicks, if you can have a coop in your backyard in a city or a certain town or village that you live in. That aside, what would someone who is walking into the store who wants to get, 3 or 4 chicks to start hopefully producing eggs for themselves, what are some of the things that people might not be aware of but should be aware of when they have to care for these animals?
Yeah, well, first thing they should be aware of is that New York State has a minimum of 6 to purchase, so they can't come in to buy just 3 or 4. So that's always actually a surprise, which we fully support. Actually, that law from New York State. I mean, it's a lot of people think that buying chicks is just if they're cute in the spring and when they're chick size, and then as they grow up, they kind of get they turn into chickens. They lose the cute factor. So it's if you're buying chicks, you want to make sure you're buying enough so that you are taking it seriously. But people really, I think that the biggest thing we always try to tell, and what I always try to tell people about raising chicks, that you need food, you need water, and you need space. And really the space that they take up is smaller than your average vegetable garden. So it's really not a huge amount of commitment as far as that goes. And obviously check with your town. Single place is different. You may think somewhere has, would be a no-brainer to be able to have chickens, and they have rules and regulations, and you might think somewhere else that you wouldn't have any chance of ever having them, and they allow it. So check with your local municipality, but really, as we tell everybody, it's a really simple thing to do. As I always say, it's easier than having a garden. It takes less effort than watering your garden every day, and you get eggs, and it's a cool way to see the process from beginning to end of what you put on the table.
I think it's so interesting that you have to have 6. Why is that? Do you know?
Yeah, it's for what I said. It's from what I've been, it's been explained to me anyways, that the reason to have 6 is because a lot of people kind of in the springtime, Easter time, it might be kind of cute to buy a chick or 2 chicks, and they grow up, and they're trying to make sure that the people that are purchasing chicks, kind of if you're going to buy 6 chicks, you're more likely to be taking it seriously than someone that's just buying a one-off chick just for Easter time, or so that really that they're taking care of their whole life, and the people that are purchasing them really know what they're getting into and are anticipating that taking care of a chicken for 6 or 7 years. overall.
Is that their lifespan?
Yeah, I mean, chickens can live a little longer if you know, it depends on their egg span, you know, so they're only laying eggs for probably the 4-ish years time frame, maybe 5. I'm sure that it varies by breed, but they don't produce eggs for that entire amount of time. But yeah, you can get chickens. I have chickens myself, and we have some old girls that are 8-ish years old and still not laying eggs, but they're freeloading. They're eating all the food, but they're not laying eggs. But they're still there.
Brad Payne from CountryMax, thank you so much for your time. Before we let you go, I got to ask, what came first?
Yeah, I don't know. I should have that answer. You know, I don't know if I'm prepared for the chicken or the egg talk. I guess you got to say the egg. You know, the egg had to come first. It's it came from the egg. That's the root of everything. So we'll go with the egg.
Brad, thanks for your time today. We appreciate it, and thank you for the insight as well.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care. Hey, stick around. When we come back, we are learning more about the newly announced Workforce Center opening in the Finger Lakes.
Yeah, and don't forget, take us wherever you are. Stream us live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel.
(9:10) this morning. Thanks so much for sticking around. Governor Kathy Hochul recently announced that the Finger Lakes had been selected to advance the planning stage of the One Network for Regional Advanced Manufacturing Partnerships program, or ONRAM.
Yeah, the center will be led by Monroe Community College and work in partnership with Rochester Works. This morning we're learning more about ONRAM and the opportunities it will offer. We're
glad to be here.
A lot of words that we just read right there. Break it down for us in layman's terms, if you don't mind.
Well, in layman's terms, I think what the governor recognizes when you're looking at advanced manufacturing, each region is different. You need to have different sites that kind of lead the advancement, and a main center based off of the model that was in Northland and Buffalo that can kind of lead advanced manufacturing, semiconductor, to create that I-90 corridor across the state. So we were primed for it. We've been here before talking about the Finger Lakes Workforce Development Center and the downtown campus of Monroe Community College. So the stars aligned for us. So we're excited about it, bringing individuals to great jobs and to great opportunities.
And we were talking a little bit during the break. This is about job creation, but it's also filling those positions, correct?
Yeah, we were excited to hear last year with the Tech Hub announcement, and you hear all this excitement about the semiconductor industry and what will that bring? And it'll bring economic development. It'll create jobs, but we always say that you can create jobs, but you have to fill the jobs. That doesn't happen through spontaneous combustion. You need to recruit, you need to train individuals. MCC has fantastic facilities. We have fantastic training facilities throughout the region. This will allow us to really understand how we can provide that connective tissue to connect people who are seeking opportunity at the end of the day to get those great opportunities that exist in our economy, and will continue to do so over the next 10 years.
It's a great partnership. How did this, kind of form for you two?
Well, I think some of it, and Dave can add on a little bit, because I think some of it was kind of in the works even before I came. But Rochester Works was looking to, and is moving forward here in the future, moving into the 4th floor of our downtown campus, and just creating that synergy. You're talking about that one-stop shop. Us as being the largest training provider in the county and in the region, Rochester Works, with the great work that they do continuously, will provide individuals into jobs, into the job pathways. So it was a natural sort of partnership. It's been one, me and Dave kind of feel like we're connected at the hip now in a lot of our initiatives. So that's where it began, and now with OnRamp, it just continues to help build a vision that we already had for the region and what we're doing here within Monroe County.
Talk to us about having that 4th floor at MCC. That's big, and it's also very important.
It's huge for us, yeah. And I say, you can oversimplify it as, we have thousands of people who come into our doors at Rochester Works every year. They're seeking opportunity. They're seeking a career pathway. And you simplify it by saying, well, the largest training provider, which is training individuals for these in-demand careers, to have them right across the hallway, from a practical point of view, it makes sense, but also having those synergy intake, and MCC is the one doing the training, it just only makes sense to have that natural connection. So we've worked very well together, and it's a relationship we're looking to grow, not just for the sake of our organizations, but really for the benefit of the entire community. I think it's good to have these two large community anchors joined at the hip from a point of view that it will just help make the system more efficient to connecting people who seek opportunity to those jobs that are existing.
Absolutely. What's the timeline for all of this?
So the timeline now, the first aspect of the funding is a planning grant. So over the next 6 months, and even though Monroe Community College, Rochester, we're kind of co-leading this, we've also brought in, we're talking about the GLOW and the FLOW workforce development boards, Finger Lakes Community College, GCC as well. So this is a regional aspect, a regional approach, 9 counties that we're bringing into this aspect. So over the next 6 months, you can plan what's needed in order to really be successful in our Finger Lakes on-ramp workforce development site.
And the big thing is, at the end of the day, we will be eligible for up to $40 million to create new programming to help provide wraparound services to individuals. So this really is a game changer for us. And knowing that we have all this job creation in the advanced manufacturing, optics, semiconductor in our sites, having this opportunity to train people, recruit them, it's going to be impactful, and I think that's why we wanted to just state that we're up to the challenge. We're going to plan, but really execution is the key thing, and that's where that $40 million comes into play.
What do we see as the result of this amalgamation 5-10 years from now?
I think, in my opinion, you'll see once again the Finger Lakes region just continue to grow, and when you're talking about being on spearheading the drive, semiconductor, advanced manufacturing, continue to grow the great things that we're doing with optics, just continue to create opportunity for the region and economic mobility for individuals. See the community college, when you look at Monroe Community College, we have a great reputation for workforce development nationally. And once again, just continue to grow and build upon our reputation and bring us back to the forefront.
Yeah, and look, any job opportunity program I view as an anti-poverty program, because what we're looking to do is connect people who have been disconnected from our workforce, who are in marginalized communities. We're looking to give them that end zone in sight for them, and help them understand where these opportunities exist, help them understand that these are their opportunities. These just aren't opportunities for people who traditionally have been in these roles, but we want the entire community to benefit from that. So what I would say is 5 years from now, anyone who really wants a career, a good paying career, has a very visible, navigable pathway towards that hopefully this will help facilitate.
Very good. That's
cool.
Yeah. Thank you both so much for coming in today.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. And a big congratulations, too, on the partnership. I'm sure bright things ahead for our area.
Absolutely. For somebody sitting at home quickly who wants to learn more, wants to somehow get involved, where do they go?
You can go to Monroe Community College website. There's a link to our workforce development site. Will create more and more opportunities to reach out to our Edwards Division, Economic Development and Innovative Workforce Services. And you know, as time goes on, a lot of people already want to reach out and want to become involved. We'll be bringing partners and having those conversations, and we'll be getting the word out, not just today, but in more opportunities here in the future.
And I imagine Rochester Works on your end?
Yes,
Perfect.
RochesterWorks.org, but MCC already has many great programs that I encourage people to take advantage of in this interim period.
Terrific. Thank you both so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Time right now, 9:17. When we come back, we're once again going behind the story.
We're back on the other side of the break.
Welcome back. Once again, we're going behind the story right now, following some of the top headlines this Wednesday morning.
Yeah, we want to turn now to some local stories as Monroe County moves ahead with plans to renovate the Seneca Park Zoo.
Yeah, it's following criticism that previously made designs wasted millions in taxpayer dollars. Stephanie Joseph is in the newsroom this morning with more on the story. Steph, let's go.
Know that after last night, 25-4, that was the vote in favor of moving forward with the design plans with a different firm this time around. But we know that there were concerns obviously raised the last time because this is not the first time that a redesign was considered. I believe back in 2015, a different plan was put on the table in order to bring these renovations to the zoo. And so now a lot of lawmakers, even at that meeting, as you see here, raised concerns saying we want to make sure that this is allocated in the right way. We realize that this is a great resource in our community, but this has to be done the right way.
Now, Steph, nearly $6 million, it's my understanding, nearly $6 million had already been spent for designs with previous design firms on this project. And that was allowed to happen because of a law that was passed nearly a decade ago now that they were allowed to continue to use that money. Is that correct?
So I know that with a previous administration, obviously not the current one, that there were different rules in place in terms of moving forward. I think that at the time, rather than pausing, they decided to just switch over to a different design firm to move forward with this. It's unclear where the money went in terms of the ones that were allocated for this specific project. I believe less than $1 million actually went towards putting stuff together for that design back in 2015.
And Steph, you know, the critics here are saying that millions were wasted in taxpayer dollars. Aside from that, what are some of the other criticism that we're hearing right now?
Yeah, so lawmakers, of course, wanted to see this money allocated to other places that may really need it around the city. I know we have sound from a specific lawmaker, one of whom she had voted against this, just given that there are other needs, especially in her community, that could be addressed. Let's see if we can pull that up.
I represent the poorest district in the city, in Monroe County, the northeast quadrant of the city, where nearly 70% of the families live below the poverty line. Food insecurities are a reality. Crime is a reality. I simply can't get behind this spend.
The Seneca Park Zoo is an important community asset that is deserving of investments. This expansion has been many years in the making and does appear to now be on the right track. But a project of this magnitude, a total of $121 million, does need oversight from this body.
So you heard their lawmakers definitely making their voices heard about some of the concerns that they have towards allocating this money. You heard there again at the end that while this is something that's needed in the community, there is that concern again over how this will be allocated.
And I mean, $121 million. We heard legislator Barnhart talk about that and the oversight needed. What is that money going toward? What sort of renovations? What are we expecting the zoo to look like? What changes will be made?
Yeah, there's some major expansions that are proposed. So one of them being a 48,000 square foot tropics building. And a lot of that can include the Borneo forest, tropical islands, different things along those lines, different habitats, I should say. And then there's also the 22,000 square foot main entry plaza. So things like membership, tickets, all of that. You're seeing that right here as well. That is what it would go towards.
All right. And Steph, do we know when the project would be completed?
Yeah, the estimated completion year, that's 2028.
All right. Stephanie Joseph in the newsroom. Thank you, Steph. Appreciate it.
Time right now, 9:25. Much more to get to here on ARC Rochester.
We are back after this. Good Wednesday morning. Thanks so much for sticking with us here on ARC Rochester. 928, I'm Dan Schrack.
I'm Abby Fridman. We're going to start out the final half hour right now by turning to the latest developments in some political news.
Yeah, the King of Jordan II and President Donald Trump met at the White House yesterday. They were discussing the future of Gaza.
Earlier in the week, Trump said he wants the U.S. to own the territory and redevelop it. Part of his plan, including having nearby countries like Jordan take in more than 1 million new Palestinian refugees.
For more on this plan and the possible impacts, we're joined now by political science professor Tim Kneeland. Tim, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to chat with us.
Great to be here.
All right, so let's dive right in. And I would like to start this out with the first soundbite we have here that was coming from the Oval Office just yesterday as President Trump met with King Abdullah II, going over his plan for Gaza and his response to how the U.S. plans to do this. Have a listen, and then I want your reaction.
Going to be peace, and there's not going to be any problem, and nobody's going to question it, and we're going to run it very properly, and eventually we'll have economic development at a very large scale, maybe the largest scale on that site, and we'll have lots of good things built there, including hotels and office buildings and housing and other things.
Now, he said that there's going to be peace and nobody's going to question it, but many world leaders are already questioning this proposal. Does the U.S. have the authority to go into Gaza and take over that land?
Under international law, absolutely not. On the other hand, this is a president who does not necessarily follow international dictums. This is a president who has already had expansionist ideas, talking about acquiring Greenland, on Truth Social tweeting that we should make Canada the 51st state. This fits in neatly with Trump's McKinley-esque vision of a kind of new imperium of the United States that will bring peace and prosperity to the globe. At least that's what he says. The reality is that you have 2 million people in Gaza Strip, which is only about 25 miles long along the Mediterranean. It's about the square mileage is equivalent to that of Philadelphia. So removing those individuals who do not want to go, placing them in 2 different countries, Jordan and Egypt, would be logistically difficult. Trump has said he would not use U.S. troops to do this either. So the question is this a serious suggestion, or is this a maneuver by the president to get concessions from Hamas and to stabilize that region by getting Jordan and Egypt to take some of the refugees? Will they do some rebuilding there? That, of course, remains to be seen. Saudi Arabia has already rejected this idea, as other Arab states have. But the King of Jordan did not necessarily reject it. He said he needed to talk to Egypt first, which is a way to defer making a decision.
And how have other world leaders responded to this idea?
I think there has been generally a kind of sense of alarm that this would vanquish the 2-state solution. Certainly the head of the UN has rejected this outright. The governing international body for settling refugees and such has rejected it. But of course, the issue is this. The U.S. has economic power and influence. It also has military power globally. So again, this could be a gambit by Trump, who really doesn't care what the rest of the world says about him if he gets what he wants out of a deal.
Do you think that this was potentially a plan that had been in the works for some time? That it was something that the Trump administration maybe had on the back burner during the campaign and just it was never spoken of? Because we talk about the destruction. His press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, has talked about the destruction, showing images during news conferences of what Gaza currently looks like and calling it unlivable. And largely, you look at some of these sites and you could not live there. However, if people are still calling this home, And the president then tells the prime minister of Israel to cease and keep on blowing up Hamas over there. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point.
Right. The few remaining settlements would essentially be destroyed. And again, it is a terrible situation. There, is no easy solution to any of this in terms of rebuilding. It'll take massive amounts. Somebody's predicted it would take 30 years for Gaza to be restored to its economic pre-war conditions. Certainly, again, a spokesperson out of the Palestinian Authority has said the people who live there would prefer to live in a tent besides their destroyed home rather than leave their homeland and be dispossessed completely. Others have called it a kind of ethnic cleansing. So, again, this is not an easy solution. And is it just a way for Trump to get other leaders in that part of the world to actually pour some investment in there and to get Hamas to leave, right? Because maybe the concession is Hamas absolutely leaves, allowing the Palestinians to live there so that Trump gets what he wants, which is to, eliminate a terrorist organization that is on the U.S. watch list.
Tim, I'm curious to know, have any other presidents in, let's say, our lifetime here proposed any kind of takeover like this?
Not in our lifetime, certainly. And again, Gaza was occupied by Israel in 1967 during the Six-Day War. So even, within my lifetime, this has been, an issue that has simmered, but no one has suggested, except the extreme right in Israel, that you depopulate these areas. Now, you had asked before if this is an idea that Trump had prior, to the campaign. Certainly, but no one took it seriously until now. So it may have seeped into Trump's consciousness at some point. It's hard to say how strategic Trump is because we also know that he tends to respond instinctually to issues. But this would be novel. This would be like a restoration. Again, I used the term McKinley-esque. William McKinley, who occupied the Philippines and annexed Hawaii and Guam and other areas in the wake of the Spanish-American War. We haven't seen this kind of territorial aggressiveness since then.
All right, Timothy Kneeland, Nazareth University. Tim, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be able to continue this conversation at a later point in time as this story continues to develop.
Absolutely. Good talking to you.
Time right now, 9:36. When we come back, Marty will join us to talk about some wintry weather in the forecast.
Oh, lucky us. Not about Marty. We want him to join us. The wintry weather, not so much. Hey, don't forget, if you're heading for the door, you can take us with you. We are streaming live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel. Ark Rochester returns after this. (9:39). Welcome back. We want to turn now to meteorologist Marty Snyder. We are talking about that wintry weather that is headed our way. He is in studio now with what we can expect. Martin, fill us in.
Yeah, well, today actually kind of a quiet day for us. It's as we head into the afternoon, going into the evening, that's when we're going to see those changes play out. But for now, just a lot of cloud cover out there. Yesterday, we were seeing a few little breaks here and there of sunshine. And today, I can't rule out a little break or two. But in general, that cloud cover is going to hold on pretty well. What we're watching is mainly the system that's off to our west. There is some mixed precipitation down to our south. You get down towards D.C., south into central Virginia. Those areas seeing at least some mixed precipitation. But for us, it's this activity that's building in, filling in just a little bit across portions of lower Michigan, even across Lake Erie. That will continue to move in our direction. That's going to fill in for our area as we head through some of the afternoon hours and then go into the evening and overnight. So bottom line, we're going to see some of that snow begin to make its way in, mainly mid to late afternoon. So the afternoon commute may see road conditions start to deteriorate a little bit. It's not going to be a huge amount of snow, but as we all know, it just takes a little bit to cause a little bit of activity on roadways and slow things down a bit. Now, as we head through the evening, I think it'll be a story where we see about a trace to a 2-inch range on snow by late evening. So again, not a huge amount, but if we're at the upper end of that range in a few places, that could cause at least a few more problems. As we go through the late evening, I think it'll be a period when we change over to at least some mixed precipitation. At this point, it may not be a whole lot of mixed precipitation, but once again, anything in that category could cause at least roads to slicken up and will glaze on some surfaces. But I think we'll quickly change to just rain after midnight as temperatures actually rise as we go into the night. So we'll actually pop back above freezing by that time frame. Been waiting to come above freezing for quite some time, but ironically, it may be overnight when that actually finally does play out. Now, we do have the winter weather advisory in effect from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. A lot of western New York under that. The winter storm watch, that's for lake effect snow coming in off the east end of Lake Ontario. That's more into central New York. You get over towards Oswego County, Onondaga County, points east over towards the Utica-Rome area. So not for us, but if you're heading in that direction over the rest of the week, you have to keep that in mind. But today we're just starting off with that lower cloud cover holding on. There have been a couple snow showers that have tried to pass through, but really not too many up to this point, and we're going to see more of a widespread snow later today, but it's been isolated activity up until now. 23 currently. A few areas of the east have fallen back into the teens, even south. You can see a few of those readings in the teens scattered in there. So another look at that timeline, again, shows a cloud cover holding. Snow builds in as we progress through some of the afternoon hours. Again, road conditions may deteriorate at least somewhat by the end of the day today. And then as we head into some of the late evening hours, as we start to see a change over to at least some mixed precipitation, notice how we may see a little break in some of it then. So the timing may actually be good. The atmosphere stacks up so we could see some mixed precipitation, but there may not be a lot of moisture to fall through it during that time frame. And then overnight, as temperatures continue to increase, I think it'll be a story where we change over to some rain, and then into tomorrow, it all just cools right back down again. Some scattered snow showers with a lot of that tapering off, and the wind picks up then as well. But today up to about 32, that'll happen during the evening. So I think most of daylight hours will be somewhere in the 20s for those readings, but up into the freezing point and above as we head through the overnight. 40 for an early high tomorrow, turning windy at times, down to about 24 into Friday. And we still have to watch the upcoming weekend, maybe really, really late Saturday, more so into Sunday. That's when some more snow and maybe some mixed precipitation could work in. So that'll be system number 2 that we have to keep an eye on. And then just cold behind that, it all draws that cold air in. So teens for highs, single digits for lows into early next week. So a lot of different things playing out. 2 different systems, cold air in between each of those. So it's going to be a winter-like feel, definitely.
With that wintry mix moving in late this afternoon, what are we anticipating for tomorrow morning's commute? What are the road conditions going to be like?
Tomorrow morning may not be all that bad for the initial part, because you have to consider the fact we'll see some of that mixed precipitation tonight. It all comes back above freezing overnight, so that may work in our favor by just putting rain down on top of any of the snow or ice that has fallen, and above freezing temperatures will help out there. So bottom line, tomorrow morning's commute, maybe a little bit wet, but going through tomorrow, I think we may ice up a little bit as temperatures drop. We won't see much precipitation then, but whatever liquid is on the ground through the morning tomorrow as temperatures fall, that could ice up. So that's something we have to watch as well.
Slick afternoon then.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, late morning, afternoon, not so much from precipitation falling, but whatever's left over, if it stays on the ground and doesn't evaporate soon enough, that could be an issue there. A lot of different things playing out. It's kind of complicated coming up.
Yeah, listen, I don't envy your job this time of year. During the summer, maybe a little bit, because you kind of you sit back there with your feet up on the desk. We know what goes on back there during the barbecues out back. Plenty
of that. Music. We got the music playing back there.
Yes.
Hetzko's got some good tunes.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Marty.
Sure.
Time right now, 9:44. When we come back, we're getting a look at what people are talking about on the internet.
Arc Rochester is back right after this. .46 this Wednesday morning. It's time to talk trends right here on Arc Rochester. So we'll jump into our first story. We want to introduce you to the winner of the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. It was not Abigail's pick. She actually lost money on this. But Monty, a giant schnauzer, won the top prize.
Monty's a big guy.
Yes, he is.
He beat out his competitors, a Bichon Frise. Am I saying that right?
I believe so.
Named Neil. Skye Terrier named Archer.
I like it.
And the Whippet and repeat runner-up known as Bourbon.
I like that.
Oh, that's how I smooch Jay, too.
Oh,
right
a Shih
there in her
Tzu.
little face.
A Shih Tzu called Comet, a German Shepherd named Mercedes, who came in second last year, and an English Springer Spaniel called Freddie.
They're all cute.
They are.
This is the third year in a row that Monty made the finals.
The names, it's all about the names,
Yeah.
too. When you give these dogs human names, it's just, there's something about that.
Yeah.
That
It's
so
hilarious.
endearing.
It really is.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sorry, you
No.
can continue.
Westminster Win is considered the most prestigious award in the U.S. Dog show world.
Yeah, each dog is judged according to how closely it matches the ideal for its breed.
Yeah. So winners get a trophy, they get ribbons, and they also get bragging rights. But believe it or not, no cash prize.
What? Seriously?
There she is.
There
There's
she's,
my
little
girl.
Jaybird. Look at her.
You're
Okay.
gonna tell me that she is not
I think
perfect?
top
There she
prize
is.
right there.
Look, she's got
top
another
prize. Top prize.
Yeah.
Were you doing bow practice there?
No, it was the first day of school.
Oh,
First day
okay.
of school, she brought an apple for her teacher.
Oh,
This
it was the
is,
first day of puppy school?
This is how the Bills season. I got so much hate for that picture. People did not like that
Why?
picture of me. I don't
Oh.
know. There she is. These are really old pictures. That was her Halloween
Frankendog?
costume. Yeah, from a few years ago. Yeah, look at how happy. Come
She was. Look at that.
on. Are you kidding me?
She should win.
She's '1 in my book.
That
Her little
face.
hound's teeth.
That little
She's not a
face.
purebred Whippet. She's a whippet.
Who
and
cares?
A beagle, I think, is what she is, but she's perfect.
That makes her even better.
Yep.
Winner, winner. Okay, let's move along. A beloved mascot, it's a sad story, has died.
Yeah. Duolingo, the language learning app, announced that their iconic mascot has died.
The company announced that the duo, the owl, who was known for his silly antics, mysteriously died.
In a social post, the company said that the death is under investigation. They also went on to say he had many enemies.
This is not. Brands weighed in to share their condolences. The good news here. Oh, we got The Sims.
We're pouring one out.
Pouring one out for him. Do we have any others?
Yeah,
Yes.
Xbox.
Oh my gosh.
The logo's a little.
It's real
graphic
rough.
there.
Who else weighed in?
Anybody?
That's all.
Oh, just those two.
That's all we're allowed to show on television. Otherwise, we'll be fined. The good news here is it's a cartoon bird, people.
Yeah.
It's not a real owl. So,
I am interested to know what's going on. There's got to be something else.
yeah, it's called branding.
No,
And
I know, but there's got to be like a big announcement or something coming up.
Schmucks like us are going to talk about the death of this guy, and schmucks like us will talk about whoever they choose as their new mascot. And then Duolingo gets free advertising.
In lieu of flowers, please do a Duolingo lesson.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, let's move on.
Have you ever tasted something so good that you wanted to bathe in it? This new product might be perfect for you.
Papa John's is releasing a limited edition bath bomb inspired by its garlic dipping sauce.
The pizza chain says they created it to show a little extra love to their most passionate fans by turning their wildest dreams into a reality this Valentine's Day.
To get your hands on one of these, you need to share your love for Papa John's garlic dipping sauce on social media.
Then select fans will be picked to receive one-of-a-kind self-care essentials, just like this.
Yeah, if this isn't up your alley for Valentine's Day, the chain is also offering customers a heart-shaped pizza now through February 16th. Listen. That dipping sauce in a bath bomb, hard pass.
Why would you want to smell
pass.
garlic? Okay, so here's an overture.
I mean, unless you're like really afraid of vampires or something, I don't see why you would do this.
When I eat garlic, no matter what, it like seeps out of my skin. So
because that's what garlic does.
I know, but it's. I probably smell like this pretty
Now, listen,
regularly.
I think the only fix is you throw the bath bomb in. When you dive in, you get some fresh Parmesan cheese and grate that in there.
Stop.
Delightful.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If you could bathe in any food because you love it so much, what would it be?
Ashley's like, we gotta kill time.
No, I'm feeling good.
Chris gets in my ear and says, tofu.
Tofu.
No. Wouldn't bathe in tofu.
Oh man. It'd be like a.
I don't know.
Mine's mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Oh, that is a good one.
Okay, but here's the thing. You're bathing in it. Do you really want to be eating it too?
Who said you have to eat it?
Well, why
It's so good you just want it all over you. All the nooks, all the crannies, everywhere.
This is gross.
Listen, not unless I'm in handcuffs. Let's move on. All right, our final story of the morning. Dozens of schools across the country are putting a ban on a select fashion choice.
What? School administrators in at least 20
Thank God.
states? No Crocs for you. That is
Nope.
what they are saying. They banned students from wearing these to class.
Some schools claim this is because they are more likely to struggle when they walk wearing the shoes, which can be bad in an emergency.
Others claim that there was an increase in trip and fall incidents because students don't use the safety strap behind the heel. Got to put it in sport mode.
Where did that come from? Because I heard
I
that
don't know.
recently, and I thought it was the funniest thing. Talking to my niece, and yeah, gotta put them in sport mode,
Yeah,
Uncle Dan.
Four-wheel drive.
Yeah. While for some schools, the shoes are a distraction, citing the collectible charms. They're easy to throw. Oh, goodness. All I can think of when people are talking about throwing shoes is, do you remember George Bush dodging them?
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
The so-called
Oh, Lord.
croc blocking debate has bubbled since the shoes were first released in 2000.
That's inappropriate. Crocs have been banned on escalators at Disney World and certain medical facilities and labs, citing safety concerns. The fashion police will also come after you.
Yes, Joan Rivers back from the dead.
Yep, she
Rip
would.
to a legend.
Hey, stick around. When we come back, our final thoughts this Wednesday morning.
We're back after this. All right, that does it for us here on Arc Rochester. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you back here again tomorrow morning starting at 4:57 on 13 Wham ABC.
Yeah, more live local news coming up today on 13 Wham News at midday. We'll see you then. Have a good one.